Hello again, everybody. This is James, and I'm back in the shop again. It's been a long time. The last video I posted for the chess set series was back in June when I did the King. Life kind of got exciting after that. My wife and I started a new business. So we've been very busy with that. It's now the middle of February 2016, and I'd really like to finish this chess set series. I gotta say, I'm amazed at the response. When I posted that last video in June, I think there was 1,000 subscribers. Now there's nearly 7,000. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of comments and likes and subscribers. You guys are fantastic. The whole YouTube community is fantastic. So I'm very grateful. And I miss doing this, so I want to get this chess set done, get it delivered to my son in time for his birthday, which we missed last year. So what we need to do is put the weights in the chess set, which are going to be pennies, and then put the felt on, and then polish them back up, and they'll be pretty much done. I'm not going to do a board right now, but I'd like to answer all the common questions that I've been getting. I used to answer every question one by one, and I've had no time to do it. I apologize. I hope those of you who asked questions are watching. One of the biggest questions is, what kind of chuck am I using to do the chess set? There's a company out there called One Way. It's oneway.com. And this is I think it's called a Talon chuck. It's adjustable. You can put things inside, or you can use these to go inside of a big hole and use them as grippers for an interior hole. I've also got smaller jaws where I can do smaller diameters. It's a very versatile chuck. It wasn't terribly expensive. So that's one question. The second question was, where did I get the assorted rolls of sandpaper? This came from Rockler. You can get it in their catalog. The actual supplier is called Shop Basics. It's product number, I think, 1114. 5-roll sanding pack. Shop Basics, distributed by Rockler Company. It's got 150, 240, 320, 400, and 600 grit. I didn't even use a whole package of this for the entire chess set, even though I use a lot of sandpaper. So that's another good buy. People have been asking how I did the finishes. On the alder, the light colored hardwood, before I finished it, I used a sanding sealer, which was a lacquer based sanding sealer, 1/3 to 2/3 lacquer thinner. And then I'd friction dry that and then resand, and that filled up the pores to prepare it for the other finish, which is from Captain Eddie. You should look up Captain Eddie in YouTube. He's got his own channel. He knows everything about lathe work. This is called OB Shine Juice, and it's 1/3 boiled linseed oil, 1/3 denatured alcohol, and 1/3 bullseye shellac. Shake it up, drip it on the product, force friction, finish it with a paper towel, and it's a beautiful finish. You can do coat after coat. So that's that. Probably a lot more questions I'm missing. Add the comments to this video, and I will be answering them from now on. So, we're going to finish the chess set. So the felt that I bought is not just the cheap Hobby Lobby felt. I hope you can tell by looking at this. This is like several mils thick. I don't know if it's 4 or could be 4 mil, but it's pretty much 125 thousandths of an inch thick, and it's very dense. And what I wanted to do was, these are all prototype pieces that I did. They're waste products, but you can see I recessed the bottom, and I wanted to put a piece of felt here after I put the weights in the pieces. But what I didn't do is do this uniform on all the pieces. I just kind of eyeballed it. And now that I have a decent, excuse me for the movement, now that I have a decent kind of felt for this piece, I want it to be a uniform distance underneath the bottom so that the wood doesn't hit the chessboard, but I don't want it sticking out so far. So the ideal distance would be for this to be recessed at 1/100,000th of an inch, so 1/10 of an inch, and then the felt is a really good match for that. But most of the pieces I did, here's another prototype piece, there's about, I don't know, 30 or 40 thousandths. I eyeballed all of these, so we're going to have to come up with a way to sand these to the appropriate depth. So, how did I do that? I turned this tool on the lathe, and what it is a piece of hardwood with a plug that sticks out that's the exact size of the hole in the bottom of each chess piece where I'm going to put the weights. So my theory was if I could make this diameter the size of the recess that I wanted, then I should be able to attach a piece of sandpaper here and sand the recesses to the proper depth. So that's what we're going to try to do. Let me pause and set this up. What we're going to do is take some of this cheap old power sander sanding paper, and we're going to cut a hole in it to match the hole in the tool that I made, 3/4 of an inch hole, and then cut it round so that we can attach it to that so that we can recess it. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I have cut the 3/4 of an inch hole in that 60 grit sandpaper, and now I'm just going to take a scissors and trim it off of the wood so that I get a nice round surface to do my recess. That looks pretty good. So now to hold it there, I'm just going to take it off and give it a quick spray of 3M adhesive. And take a, well, where are my test pieces? I'm going to take one of my failed test pieces and just kind of push it up on there. Now, we're going to measure the depth of this piece. Now, I've never done this before, so this could be a complete failure, but this is at 55 thousandths right now. We're going to see if we can make it a little bit deeper. So here we go. You know what? I'm going to stop and put on some dust protection because this is going to be some fine sawdust coming out of there. Okay, here we go. And let's give it a measure. We're at 72 thousandths. About 85 thousandths. So I spent a long time with a scissors and a razor blade trying to make a perfectly round piece of felt. You can see how thick that is. But you can see that this is going to fit perfectly into that recess now, and it shouldn't stick out too far. So in other words, when you put it on a flat surface, eventually it'll compress a little bit, but that's going to be really a good fit for a nice chest set bottom. So, here's the other problem. This round one took me forever to cut out, and I got 32 of them to do. And I want them to be professional, and it takes too long to make them perfectly round by hand. So here's what we're going to do. So I made another tool to mount in the lathe that is simply a, well, I'll just show you. This is the exact diameter of what I want the recess to be, so the piece fits perfectly into that diameter. These are 12 pieces of felt that I cut, and here is the other piece, same diameter as that. It's going to go on the tailstock, and the idea is, I hope, that we're going to be able to compress these on the lathe with the tailstock and then turn a circle so I don't have to cut them by hand. So let's see if that works. You know what, I'm going to take a straight edge first and round them off so that it's not going to be quite so tough. I don't know if this is going to work, but this sure would beat cutting them out by hand if it does work. And I'd like them to look really professional even on the bottom. So we'll see. We may be inventing a whole new way of cutting linens. I'm going to leave the dust protection on because I'm sure this is going to create lint. So let's give it a shot and see how we do. I'm going to try using my bowl gouge because it's the sharpest tool I have right now. Wow. By George, I think we did it. So once I get the fuzz off of them, it looks like I'm going to have perfectly round pieces of felt that will fit perfectly in the bottom of my pieces. And when the recess is done, it'll just look good, it'll work well. It's dense enough felt that it should compress. Anyway, so that'll about do it for now. Come back again when I do part 2 of finishing the chest set, and we'll do the penny insertion. We'll glue that in. We'll cut pieces of dowel to finish the bottom flat, and we'll put the brand new perfectly round felt pieces on, and then polish up the set, and it'll be ready for delivery. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming back to see me. Leave your questions at the comment section in the bottom, and I'll see you at part 3.